A logo dagger over the Mystics felt great Monday. But tonight, against the Sky, is where we find out if Indiana actually has an identity or just a closer.
Indiana Fever Daily, and Joey's here cautiously hungry. We've got White's presser, a CBS Sports report card, and a Sky team that's been struggling.
We'll put White's "Stars Are Gelling" line right up against CBS giving the Fever huge questions, and see which one sounds true after tonight.
Plus the one lineup tell I'm watching all night. Sarah, you start us. Does this test even count?
At 6-5 against a Sky team this far down, there's no excuse. If the offense only hums when Clark's hot, that's the answer right there. Here's Marietta Daily Journal.
Looking to build on Monday's emotional victory courtesy of Caitlin Clark, the Fever try for a 7th straight win over the scuffling Sky on Thursday night at Indianapolis in a contest that's part of the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup. Indiana, 6-5, 2-1 Commissioner's Cup, has posted just one winning streak this season, a 3-game run May 17th through 22nd. A second streak is possible Thursday because Clark sank a 32-footer with 1.2 seconds remaining for a 78-76 win Monday at Washington.
6 straight wins over Chicago, and the Wire's already treating tonight like it should be number 7. The consistency test didn't end with Clark bailing them out in Washington. Now it's, can the rescue turn into a streak?
And the only winning streak Indiana's managed all year was 3 games, May 17 to 22. 1. That's the bar tonight. Just stack a second win in a row.
What I want is the streak without the drama. They blew a 17-point lead Monday before the 32-footer saved it. Against the opponent they've handled most reliably, you'd like to see a lead actually hold.
And it's a Commissioner's Cup game. Indiana's 2-1 in the Cup. So there are real stakes attached to a matchup they've owned. No excuse to coast and pray for a logo 3.
Clark against the Sky in her career. 20-plus points, 10 assists, 7 boards a night. If the offense ever runs clean as a unit, it's tonight.
Right, and Clark herself said it. Happy with the win. Then go back and find ways to improve. She's not selling Monday as the finished product, so neither am I. Against a struggling Chicago Sky team, what's the lineup or rotation tell fans should actually be watching tonight? The thing that says this Fever group is forming an identity, not just patching it together week to week.
Yeah, and I think it starts with Damiris Dantas. She's been a healthy scratch for at least 3 straight games, and per Sporting News, White talked about it before the Portland Fire game like a rotation decision, not an injury. So if Dantas gets back in against a softer opponent, that tells you whether White's hierarchy has any flex. Then there's Monique Billings. She came in as a marquee free agent, but SI's coverage has her struggling badly, and there's already a conversation about whether she belongs in the starting 5. If White tweaks that front court spot and rewards someone who's actually producing, that's real problem solving instead of just sticking with the investment. And the other thing is starter minutes. After the blowout loss to Portland, that early pull of Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull became a flashpoint. All 3 were out before 4 minutes had gone by, with Indiana up 8. SI and Marca both noted that the substitution pattern came right before Portland's decisive run. So against Chicago, if White lets her core starters play through that first rhythm instead of rotating them out preemptively, that's an adjustment you can actually circle.
You mentioned minute management, but with Clark a late scratch earlier this month because of her back, how much of White's rotation is injury caution, and how much is just scheme?
That's the part White still hasn't really answered in public. Per SI, Clark's back has been managed since the season opener against Dallas. So yeah, some caution is legit. But when healthy scratches and early subs start to blur together, is this load management? Is this philosophy? Fans can't tell what the staff actually believes. Against the Sky, I'm watching whether the rotation feels planned or reactive. That's probably the clearest identity signal Indiana can send right now. Indiana Pacers plus Indiana Fever coverage with Tony East.
I think both. I think certainly it's a positive. Our end-of-game execution continues to be really good, and that's a positive thing. Because you're gonna be in those situations throughout the course of the season. We've got to grow in our moments of of not executing and our moments where we relax a little bit.
Stephanie White, pre-practice June 10, leaning hard on two phrases. End of game execution is a positive, and the stars are still gelling. Both can be true, and both are also exactly what you'd say after winning ugly.
Growing through in-game moments is part of our process. Joey, that's Coach 4. We're not there yet. Which fine, but at 6-5, I want the process to start showing me a quarter where the offense hums without Caitlin going supernova.
Right, and she said it herself. Both a learning thing and a positive. That's a coach refusing to pick a lane, and tonight against Chicago, she doesn't get to dodge it. Either the gelling looks real, or it doesn't.
And watch Dantas. If a healthy veteran's parked again against the league's most depleted roster, that tells me White's already decided what this rotation is. The rotation answers the gelling question better than the quote does.
Clark-Boston pick and roll is my tell. Against this Sky defense, if that action still isn't springing Mitchell on the kickout, the gelling line ages badly by tip-off. From Joshua Valdez at Clutch Points.
On Monday, the Washington Mystics may have suffered their most demoralizing loss yet since their rebuild started last year. After erasing a 17-point deficit, they lost 78-76 to the Indiana Fever at home on a game-winning three-pointer by superstar guard Caitlin Clark. Mystics head coach Sydney Johnson told Clutch Points what the team can learn after leaving the NCAA all-time scoring leader wide open on that shot.
So the Mystics coach watches his team erase a 17-point deficit, lose on a logo 3, and the takeaway is, I'm proud of our fight.
Sydney Johnson's a year 2 coach in a rebuild. That's the right thing to say to your locker room. It also tells you exactly who Indiana beat Monday, a team trying to turn a loss into development reps.
Right, and that's what nags at me. Washington left her wide open from 31 feet with 4.3 left. Indiana's offense didn't exactly hum there. Washington just forgot Caitlin Clark exists.
First buzzer beater of her WNBA career, per CBS Sports, so give her the credit. But our Sky conversation gets at it cleaner. Beating a team that's hunting for silver linings doesn't answer the questions we have about this group. CBS Sports writes,
Every team has played at least 10 games, which means we have enough evidence to zoom out and take stock of the league. As expected, the reigning champion Las Vegas Aces have gotten off to a strong start, but they sit in second place behind the surprising Minnesota Lynx, powered by rookie sensation Olivia Miles.
CBS Sports put out quarter-season grades, and while Olivia Miles and the Lynx are acing the test ahead of the champs in Vegas, Indiana gets the huge questions label at 6-5.
Huge questions. Okay, but every team that just lost its starting center for a month would get that line too. What's the actual question they're asking?
Identity. And it lands harder next to White's June 10 presser, where she talked about the stars gelling. After tonight, one of those reads a lot closer to the truth. And the Sky are the cleanest test we get.
Right, so put the grade to work. If the Clark-Boston two-man game still can't spring Mitchell for kick-out threes against the worst defense on the schedule, then yeah, the C+ is earned, not lazy.
And watch Dantas. A healthy scratch against a depleted Sky tells you whether White's building a rotation or just rolling dice.
A soft Sky team is exactly where you experiment if you're ever going to. Play her, don't play her. Either way, it's a real data point instead of a vibe.
If you like keeping up with women's sports every day, try Angel City Daily Podcast, a daily ACFC supporter briefing with match reaction, NWSL standings, roster moves, women's soccer in Los Angeles, and supporter buzz. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. If anything from today's episode sent you down a rabbit hole, you'll find links to every story waiting in the show notes. Take a look, catch up, and read a little deeper where you want to. That's Indiana Fever Daily Podcast for today. This is a Lantern Podcast.